Your personal finances, you cannot master them if you do not have a financial rule. Now, someone would ask me, what is a financial rule? A financial rule is a formula that you use to plan, manage, and control your finances. Recently, I was conducting a training on personal development, and part of that training, there was personal finances. So I asked these people, do you have a financial rule? And somehow they had an idea of what a financial rule is. And one of the participants put up their hands and she said, no, I don't have one because they gave me a rule that does not work for me. And so what I do, I spend what I have to spend on. I try to be as disciplined as I can. And then I invest the remainder. Actually, she didn't say I invest. She said I save the remainder. I was like, what? I used to be like that. You can't afford to be like that. So today, in this video, I'm going to tell you, number one, about the common error about financial rules. And after, I'm going to tell you about how to personalize yours, how to come up with your own financial rule that will work for you. And lastly, I'll give you a challenge that will help you be on top of your personal finances come 2026. So let's start with the common error. The biggest mistake personal finance coaches and trainers, or maybe speakers, people who have become rich, just tell you, is that you use the 50, 30, 20 rule. That this 50 goes to your needs, this goes to your wants, and this goes to savings and investments. Here's the problem. This is not contextualized. And if something is not contextualized, you surely cannot conceptualize it. And if you cannot conceptualize it, you can't actualize it. So the biggest mistake people do is give you something that is generic. Okay, this maybe is a general rule, but it is not actualizable to you. In one of my previous videos, I gave you an example of a billionaire who one day woke up and said they will only be using 1% of their income and 99% will go to charity. Their rule is 1 to 90. Can you? You earn 1 million. Your expenses are almost 1.5 million. A financial rule should be customized to your context. So I'm going to teach you how to come up with your own personal rule. Now, I'm going to share with you mine, and then I'll tell you how to come up with yours. Mine is simple. I am still a broke lad. So mine, I am still spending 50% on needs. These are monthly expenses, bills, fees, etc. And then I use 20, 10, 10, 10. So other than expenses, I have 20% that goes to wants. Now, these wants are both short-term and long-term. So, for example, if I want to buy a phone, you need a car or you need a new car. So, short-term are things I'm going to buy within 1 year to 3 years. Long-term is something I can save for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It could be a house, it could be a car, etc. Then number 3, 10% is for education. Education, what you people sometimes call continuous professional development. If you're not in professional development, it's continuous personal development, CPD. So I have a 10% budget that always goes aside so that cumulatively, when I have money, I can take up a conference, a workshop, an online course. Right now, this year, I'm saving for a 98 million course with Myron Golden. It is $28,000. So I'm hoping I collect that money. If I have a sponsor, amazing. Then 10% goes to money I invest as trees. Long-term investment. Now, we are going to look at the concept of money we invest as trees. Just watch the next video. This is money that is going to help you break through to financial freedom. And lastly, 10% is tithe. Often when I'm speaking to Christians, they will ask you, so where does offering go? Offering is free will. Now, offering is around here. So depending on how big your 20%, because 20% on 1 million is 200,000, 20% on 10 million is 2 million. So depending on how big your 20% is, your offering always comes from here. So the reason as why I told you, you must customize. I have a friend of mine, and I've already mentioned it in a particular video, who gives tithes of 10% and then offering of 20%. You know why? They can afford. Now you need to come up with yours that works for you according to how much you earn and how much you spend. We've already talked about the concept of spending and earning. So how do you come up with your financial role? You must know three things. Number one, you must know three things. Number one, know your earnings. Know your earnings. How much do you earn on a monthly? Number two, you must know your expenses. What are your living expenses? Your earnings and expenses. And number three, you must know your plans. So you must set a goal. Remember, this whole process of a formula, it's about planning. The moment you know your earnings, your expenses, and what you plan or what your goals are, for instance, know how much is going to go in school fees before the year begins, how much is going to go into rent, how much is going to go, approximately how much is going to go into friends and family, birthdays, introductions, weddings. Are you planning to buy a car? Are you planning to buy a phone? The moment you know this for me, I am going to help you create a financial role. But most of you do not know your monthly living expenses. You actually have no idea. So I'm going to give you a 90 days challenge that will help you know all this and will be a foundation for you to come up with your financial role. So what are you going to do for me? Starting on January 1st, you are going to record every money that comes in and goes out. Whether it is money you give to a street child, it must be recorded. Whether it's money given to you as a tip, if you're a girl, it is money given to you by your man or by your suitor or by someone who just doesn't even tell you that he's sending money. All I am talking about is money that has come in, even if it's 500 shillings, even if it's $1, even if it's 5 cents, write it down. You have two options of how to record this money. Number one, write it down every evening, or meaning you're going to get a book, a journal, a diary, or a finance planner where you're going to be recording your money on a daily. Number two, you can use Excel, particular softwares where you can record your money. So depending on how savvy you are with such systems. And lastly, you can use an app. There are different applications for managing finances. Personally, I use what we call the wallet app. It's called wallet app. And if you want to know how to use it, there's a video that takes you through step by step on how to use the wallet app on my YouTube channel. Now, after you're done with this for 90 days, it will give you your average monthly expenses. What you're going to do for me, get the total expenses of 90 days and divide it by 3. It will give you your monthly expenses. Meaning, let's say between January and end of March, you have spent 9.3 million. It will be 9.3 million divided by 3, which will become 3.1 million. That means that your monthly expenses is 3.1. Now, since you know your monthly expenses, I assume you also already know your income, your earnings, because you've been recording it. Now, compare it with your expenses and get to know what percentage are your expenses to your income. If some of you will be shocked that your expenses are 110% of your income, meaning you spend more than you earn. And in that case, I would advise you find a way of reducing your expenses. Otherwise, you're going to be in a rat race. Now, let's say you're one of those who are normal. Even if you find out that the percentage of your expenses is, let's say, 70% of your income. And remember, the reason that's why I've told you 90 days, not 30 days, is because within the 90 days, you have averagely spent on everything you could spend on. You've spent on school fees, you've spent on rent, even the things you purchase on a quarterly or spend on a quarterly. Now, let's go back. So let's say it is 70% of your income. Now, separate of what you've spent, what was in the needs and what was in the wants. For example, you could find out that actually of this 70, 10% were just wants. You didn't need them. So you change and put 60, 10. You already know now your expenses. The next part you're going to do is the remaining 30. How do you divide it? Does it go to education, investment, tithes, or for you have other major things? If you're Christian, definitely you have to put a 10%, right? So you have 60, 10, 10, you're remaining with a 20. Where does the other 20 go? I always tell people, make sure you have a 10% that goes to education, and make sure you have a minimum of 10% that goes for long-term investment, money we invest as trees, and you've already spent. Now, should you want to decrease the percentage that goes to needs, then you have to look at your expenses and find things you have to cut. Because what is recommended, that you should not exceed 50% to your needs. Or otherwise, increase your income without increasing your expenses. Or if you can't increase your income, in that case, decrease your expenses. The moment you have a financial rule, now you are ready to manage your finances directly. This financial challenge is one of the things we are going to do first in the Affluent Mastermind. If I've not yet told you about the Affluent Mastermind, and you are serious about being fluent in your money, your influence, and your communication, I have opened a private inner circle called the Affluent Mastermind. Members get investment and personal finance training, accountability partners, personal branding coaching, and have free access to Fluencer 101, which is our public speaking mastery program. If that sounds like your level, all you have to do is click the sign up button above my name or comment Affluent. Others, if you found any value in this video, make sure you share and then wait for the next video where we're going to look at planting money as crops and planting money as trees. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.